Lake Metroparks. We are here today at the Chagrin River Park looking for different signs of animals. Now when you go out on a hike, you might not always see foxes and deer and coyotes, but there's plenty of ways to find signs that they have been around. So signs could be anything from scat to footprints, or even, like in a case of a squirrel or a chipmunk, nuts that they have been chewing and eating. So we're going to be looking around, seeing what kind of signs we can find here of animals that have been walking around and active here at Chagrin River Park. So follow me as we figure out different ways to find out these animals have been here. So one of the most common animals that you'll find here at Chagrin River Park is the white-tailed deer, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Now they have one of the most recognizable footprints to find. And I'm here in this kind of muddy path and I have found some signs of deer. So if you look up real close, we have a couple little toe tracks right here. One here and one here. So it's a sure sign that a deer has walked through here. And it's not just the footprints, we actually have some scat that they've left behind as well. So if we take a look over here, we'll also find some scat. So there's a few over here, and there's a few down here. Now the scat looks kind of like little blueberries. So if you find a little pile of blueberries, it's pretty likely that some white-tailed deer have been around. So let's see what other kind of animals we can find signs of. So unfortunately, I couldn't find a lot of the prints I was hoping to find outside today. We're a little short on snow at the moment, so we're just going to look at some prints inside for now. So we do have a few molds. This one here is from a raccoon print, and you can see all the individual toes. They look almost like a little hand. They have very dexterous hands. It's what lets them get into your coolers and your trash cans at night. But they also use them to hunt in water areas. So if you find them around creeks and streams and rivers, there's a good chance a raccoon was there hunting. So keep an eye out for these around your house too. And now, in comparison, this is a rabbit footprint, the back foot, and they have very thick fur on their feet. So the clarity of the toe pads is a little bit muddy for a rabbit footprint. So you'll just see this oval shape. And they have a very specific bounding pattern since they're hoppers. And they look very similar to a squirrel print. So I'm going to show you a few ways to tell apart the tracks of a rabbit and the tracks of a squirrel. Here is our eastern cottontail rabbit, the ones that you'll be familiar, they're probably in your backyard. And you'll see that they have this hopping pattern. So you'll see groups of 4 feet at once. Now the rabbits will leap with their back feet in front of their front feet. So they're heading this way, which is a little confusing. But you'll see that their front feet, these small little feet up top, are landing one in front of the other. And that's the way you can tell this apart from what our squirrels look like. So this is our eastern gray squirrel that you'll be familiar with. And you'll see that they have a very similar bounding pattern. So you'll see the groups of 4 feet at once. But you'll see that their front feet, their smaller feet, land right next to each other. So if you compare these ones running right next to each other to the rabbit, where the front feet are landing one in front of the other. So that's a good way to tell apart the patterns of a rabbit or the squirrel versus the rabbit. Another way you can tell is the squirrels are obviously tree climbers. So if you follow the trail and it ends at the base of a tree, you'll know that it's a squirrel because obviously the rabbit will not be climbing a tree. So you can always use context clues and just see where you're finding the prints and what behavior you might be able to tell that the animal is up to. That's another good way to tell them apart. Now if you're interested in looking at different footprints and animal tracking, there's a bunch of resources for you. If you're new to it, I definitely recommend something like this, which is something really local and small, a nice little pocketbook, so you're not too overwhelmed for how much there is to learn. So start small, and then if you get really interested, you can get the one for the entire North America. But it's a good idea to start small so you don't get too overwhelmed at once. So go out to our Lake Metroparks, check out our trails, and see what animal prints you can find. Follow us on social media at Lake Metroparks, and you'll find all sorts of new videos just like this for more tips and tricks on what to do and see on our trails. Thanks for joining us.